gentlemen, you are more than welcome to another episode of the Confident 11 Show, brought to you by wigwam.ie SME Peer Support. This is episode 66. Can you believe it? Episode 66. Delighted to celebrate episode 66 with my good friend of many years, and a man I admire greatly, Mr. John Loftus, in the hot seat. John, you're more than welcome. Please say hello. Show us your coffee mug.
That's my coffee mug. Can we see it?
We can.
Party animal there. A while ago, that happened now. Having spent the last 100 days in confinement. My daughter Tara, guys, she's special needs. I didn't know that at the time. Was born in 1992, in May of 1992, or sorry, April 1992, the 23rd of April. Following month, she was being christened, and I felt fairly, I could almost say shitty the next day. Put it down to having had too much to drink. A few days went on and I was not getting any better. Went to a doctor, he gave me a covering antibiotic for, he considered I had some temperature. And then a few days later, all hell broke loose. I won't go into the machinations of it. I woke up at about 7 o'clock in the evening after my wife had insisted I stay in bed for a few days, on fire. Took my temperature. I was just short of 104 degrees, which kills a normal person, kills them very dead. It's okay with a kid, but with an adult, I was 44 at the time. So I spent a weekend I was brought to the regional hospital. I spent a week there where I was under a specialist who seemed to know as much about what was going on with me as a pig would about snipe shooting. He just didn't know. I would have been better off under a car mechanic. Eventually, he brought a guy called Con Cronin, who did save my life. Con had done his training in Beaumont and was an expert in the kidney nephrology department. And he had me moved to Beaumont the following day. Now, the difference between the reception in Beaumont and what was going on in Limerick, which was nothing going on. So a week had transpired and I had been allowed to get much, much sicker. So in Beaumont, I'm given all kinds of treatment. Anyway, to make a long story boring, I am diagnosed with having good pastures syndrome. Good pastures is a rare autoimmune disease, and the upshot of it all was that there was irreparable damage done to my kidneys. I spent that was in 1992, as I said. I spent from the end of May to the 25th of November, full 6 months in hospital. During that time, I hit the crossbar on a few occasions. They cured the good pastures, but to cure the good pastures, they take down my immune system. When my immune system was down, I picked up now what they called an opportunistic strain of pneumonia. So this coronavirus has real implications in relation to all that. And now the cure nearly became worse than the disease. I was providing the body, it was antibiotics versus the virus. I was brought to intensive care, 4 days on a respirator, which absolutely I remember nothing of, simply because that part of my life disappeared. I had an out of body experience when I eventually came back. I was 100% certain I was going to die. I remember the morning I was put on the respirator. There was a guy called Shane O'Neill, was their respiratory specialist, and he came in and his team around him, and he said, "We're going to give your lungs a rest." I was there thrown on the bed like an old dog, and it had really hit me on that Saturday, because I was a real fighter up to then. This was Monday morning after a Saturday, and on the Saturday what had happened, the nurses were making the bed underneath me. I was in a frame, or whatever you would call it, and they turned me over and they asked me to put my hand on the rail while they were making the bed underneath me. And I remember not being able to get any grip on the bed. And I remember laying back into the very cold, welcoming sheets, saying to myself, "Who are you fooling? You're dead. You're gone." And I was amazed to be there Sunday, and I was even more amazed to be still alive on Monday morning when this guy Shane O'Neill came in and he said, "Look, we need to put you on the respirator. It'll give your lungs a rest." I remember being thrown down like that and nodding away as best I could, because the only part of me that was functioning was my brain. And if he had said at that stage, "Col, we'll put you up there and we'll shoot you," I would have nodded away, because I had done all the fighting. I reckon I had nothing left, and that was it. So the next 4 days, they come in, they put on the respirator, and the next 4 days disappeared out of my life. And then I pulled the thing out on the following Thursday, Friday morning. And there was all hell went loose. But I remember at that stage being aware of the fuss, but being aware of the fuss looking down on us, seeing the heads of and all the guys in white and my body, and I'm looking down there, and I'm there for a while. It seems to be 10 seconds, it could have been an hour, it could have been a minute, it could have been nothing. And then I'm aware of coming back down and being back in the bed. And the incredible thing that hit me, because I had 7 lines simultaneously into my arms at the time. My right hand was like a club because so many veins had broken down and what have you in it. But I had 7 lines intravenously, and one, including one going into my artery so that they could take blood oxygen levels. And the pain that was in those was unreal. But for that few seconds, it could have been a few minutes after I had come back to be me, there was no pain. Unbelievable, no pain, pure peace, but no pain.
Let's just come in here and honour you here for that. That is some story, my friend. I've heard it in part before. I've never heard it to this level of detail. And that's some journey. And I think we were all there with you. You know, you described the cold sheets earlier, and then you came back into your body and you described the level of pain and this absolute peace that came over you. So quite incredible, John. Quite incredible. The universe obviously wanted you to hang around for a bit.
Yeah. I couldn't get rid of me.
or decided to send you back. Tis your man. All right, listen. John, pleasure. We're going to go to Q&A from the floor. I'm quite sure there's some people there who want to ask you a couple of questions. I hope they're hard. I hope Liam Carroll has a hard question for you. Anyway, before we do that, have you one tip? What would you say to your nearest and dearest about, we're now coming through COVID, thank God.
What I've gained from COVID is this, or what I've seen in COVID, and it always helps if you, no matter how deep in any hole you are, always try to take the positive, no matter what. And what I have seen during this period has been incredible humanity. People being human to each other again. People being ready to help. People being authentic, real, neighbourly. All the things that matter. What made Ireland great? What could make the world great? Not rantings by an old man in America about making America great. That's not great. Bulldozing your way over people, that's not great. Helping the people up off the ground, that is great. And as far as I'm concerned, if we can hold on to the humanity we've discovered during this period, we'll have come, it will all almost have been worthwhile.